Hello students, welcome to the third lecture on the lecture series on ratio and proportions. So previously we have covered concepts and types of problem. Okay, that are generally being asked. Okay, based on the type of concepts. So now we'll be doing some exercise problems on the type of problem on ratio and proportions. Okay, so we'll be having a exercise session in this lecture. So let's start. So problem number 1, John has 5 red balls. So John had 5 red balls, okay, and 3 blue balls, okay. So John had balls, but 5 red kind and 3 blue kind, okay. So what is the ratio of red balls to blue balls, okay. So here first in the ratio is red ball and second is the blue ball. So red ball is to blue ball, right. So what is it equal to? Number of red ball is equal to 5 and number of blue ball is equal to 3. Okay, so the ratio of red balls to blue balls is 5 to 3 or 5 is to 3. So this is the correct answer. So count the red balls and the blue balls. So red balls are 5, we have counted them, and blue balls are 3. So ratio of red balls to blue balls is 5 is to 3. That is 5 is to 3. That is red is to blue, right? So let's see problem number 2. So in a bag there are 2 green marbles. So there are 2 what? Green marbles and 3 blue marbles. So there are two different kind of in terms of color marbles. Okay, so there are 2 green marbles and 3 blue marbles, and also there are 5 red marbles. Okay, so the bag contains three colored marbles. One is 2 green, 5 red and 3 blue. Okay, so these are the marbles that the bag contains. So the bag contains what? 3, 5, 2. So 5, 5, 10. 10 marbles in total. So we want to find the ratio of green marbles to the total number of marbles. So the total number of marbles is 2 plus 5 plus 3 is equal to 10, because 3 plus 2 is equal to 5 and that added to 5 gives us 10. Okay, so total marble is equal to 10. So we want to find the ratio of green marbles to total marbles. So green marbles to total marbles. So that is nothing but actually what? Green marbles are how many? 2 and total marble is 10. So 2 is to 10, or in simplified or simple ratio what we will be getting is 1 is to 5. Okay, 1 is to 5 is the answer. Let's see. So counting the total number of marbles. So total number of marbles 2 plus 3 plus 5, as 2 are green, 3 are blue, 5 are red. So 10 marbles in total. So counting the green marbles, what we are left with is 2. So write down the ratio in the form green is to total. So ratio of green marbles to the total is 2 is to 10, or in simple ratio it is 1 is to 5. Okay. So 1 is to 5 will be the correct answer. So let's see problem number 3. So a recipe for a cake requires 2 cups of flour for every 3 eggs. Okay. So if you have 3 eggs, okay, then it requires 2 cups of flour. So it requires 2 cups of flour. Okay. So if you want to use 8 cups of flour, how many eggs should you use? Okay. So the number of cups increases from 2 to 8. So it must be what? 3 to, since 2 into 4. 2 into 4 is equal to 8. So 3 must also be multiplied with 4. So is equal to 12 eggs. So 12 eggs will be the perfect or correct answer. So let's see. So by this method, what we do is we figure out the ratio of flour to eggs, that is 2 is to 3. Okay, because the ratio of flour is to egg is 2 is to 3. So if you have 8 cups of flour, so let's figure out how many sets of 2 cups of flour are 8 cups. So number of set of cups of 2 cups is equal to 4 sets. So since each set of floor needs 3 eggs, so multiplying the number of sets by 3 to find out the number of egg. Okay, so number of eggs is equal to 4 sets into 3 eggs, that will be equal to 12 eggs, and we have already established that 12 eggs is the correct answer. So if you use 8 cups of flour, you should use 12 eggs. So the answer is, if the recipe requires 2 cups of flour for every 3 eggs, then if you want to use 8 cups of flour, then you need 12 eggs. Okay, 12 eggs. So let's see next question. So the next question, that is problem number 4, asks us that if a group of friends shared a pizza, okay, they had a pizza, they shared it. So if Mike ate 1 by 4 of that pizza and John ate 1 by 3, so 1 by 3 will be something like this. So this will be something like this. So it will be 1 by 3, it is 1 by 4. And how much is left there? Okay, so Sarah ate the remaining 3 slices. Okay, John ate 1 by 3 of the remaining. Okay, and John ate what? Of this remaining part, he ate 1 by 3. If we divide it into 3 parts, John ate 1 part. Okay, and Sarah ate the remaining 3 slices, and other 3 slices were ate by Sarah. Then what is the original number of slices in that pizza? So let's see. So let's start with Sarah. Okay, we know that she ate 3 slices. So Sarah ate 3 slices. So let's denote S with 3. So Sarah ate 3 slices. So before Sarah ate 3 slices, there were 3 slices left. Okay. So since John ate 1 by 3 of the remaining slices, so since there were 3 slices left, so John ate 1 by 3 into 3 is equal to 1 slice. So John ate 1 slice. Sarah remains with 3, John with 1. Before John ate, there were 3 plus 1 is equal to 4 slices remaining. So Mike ate 1/4 of these remaining slices. So Mike's share is equal to 1 by 4 into 4, that is equal to 1 slice. So before Mike ate, there were 4 plus 1 is equal to 5 slices in total. So there were 5 slices were whole pizza originally. So the original number of slices in the pizza was 5 slices. Okay. So 5 slices were the original number of slices. So answer will be 5 slices. So let's see problem number 5. So Ramesh, Suresh and Mahesh want to divide a sum of 300 in the ratio 3:5:2. So how much does each person receive? Okay. So Ramesh, Suresh and Mahesh want to divide a sum of 300 in the ratio 3:5:2. So how much does each person receive? So let's see. So calculating the total parts in the ratio 3 plus 5 plus 2 is equal to 10. So total parts in the ratio are 10. Okay, this is total parts. So what we do next is we divide the total amount by the total parts. Okay, so total amount by total parts to find the value of one part. So total amount is equal to 300, total parts is equal to 10. So value of one part is equal to 30. We got it. So next what we do is we multiply the value of one part by the ratio to find each person's share. So Ramesh is equal to 3 parts. So 3 parts into 30 is equal to 90 rupees, and Suresh is equal to 5 parts into 30 is equal to 150, and Mahesh is similarly with 2 parts. So it will be 60. So Ramesh receives 90, Mahesh receives 60, and Suresh receives 150. Okay. So this is how Ramesh, Suresh and Mahesh can divide 300 in the ratio 3:5:2. They get, Ramesh get 90, Suresh receives 150, Mahesh receives 60. So a sum of 9,000 is to be divided among 3 friends, Aryan, Babita and Chetan. So in the ratio 4:3:5, how much does each person receive? So problem number 6 gives us a similar kind of question like problem number 5. So what we have is a sum of amount that is 9,000, and it is to be divided among 3 friends. So 9,000 among 3 friends, right? And their ratio is to be 4:3:5. This is how they should receive 9,000 divided. Okay. So let's see. So step 1 is we calculate the total parts in the ratio, that is 4 plus 3 plus 5 is equal to actually 12. So dividing the total amount by the total parts to find the value of one part. Okay. So it will be 9000 by 12 is equal to 750. So 750 is the value. So step 3 is multiply the value of one part by the ratio to find each person's share. So Aryan tells us that 4 parts into 750 is equal to 3000. So Babita will be 3 parts into 750 is 2250. Okay, so Chetan tells us that 5 parts into 750 is equal to 3750. So Aryan will be getting 3000, Babita will be getting 2250, and Chetan will be getting 3750. Okay, so Aryan receives 3000, Babita receives 2250, and Chetan receives 3750. Okay, so problem number 7. A bakery is sharing a donation of 12,000 among 3 charities, that is A, B, and C. So the ratio of shares between A and B is 2:3. Okay, so the ratio of shares between B and C is 5:4. So how much does each charity receive? Okay, so let's see. So firstly, what we need to do is we need to calculate A is to B is to C. That is equal to 10 is to 15 is to 12. Okay, so calculating the total parts will be 10 plus 15 plus 12. So 10 plus 15 is equal to 25, and plus 12 is equal to what? 37. Okay, so that is what we are left with, 37. So next what we do is we multiply the value of one part by the respective ratios to find the charity share. So in charity, what is the share of A, what is the share of B, what is the share of C? So A's share will be 10 parts into 324.32, that is equal to 3243.2 approximately. And similarly for B, what it will be becoming is 15 parts into 324.32, that will be equal to 4864.4 approximately. In charity, C share 12 parts into 324.32 is equal to 3891.8 rupees approximately. Okay, so these are the shares of A, B, and C in the charity. So A receives a charity of 3243.2, and B receives a charity of 4864.4, and C receives a charity for 3891.8. Okay, so let's see problem number 8. So a sum of 24,000 is to be divided among 4 people. Okay, this is to be divided among 4 people. People 1, people 2, people 3, and people 4. So they are Alex, Ben, Chris, and David respectively. So in the ratio 3:4:5:6. Okay, the ratio is given to us. So this problem is also similar to problem number 6 and 5. Okay, so after that David donates his share to a charity. So how much does each person receive and how much does the charity receive? Okay, so let's see. We have 24,000. So, and the ratios are 3, 4, 5, and 6 for Alex, Ben, Chris, and David respectively. So let's add up their parts. So let Alex have 3x part, and Ben have 4x part, and Chris have 5x part, and David have 6x part. Okay. So in total, what they will be having is 4 plus 3 is equal to 7x plus 5 plus 11x, that is equal to 18x in total. So basically what it tells us that 18x is actually equal to 24,000. So this implies that x is equal to what? 24,000 by 18. So this is by dividing by 9, what we are left with is 6. No, by dividing by 3, we are left with 6. And here with 8,000. So it will be 3. And this will be 4,000. So 4,000 by 3 will be the portion for x, that is one part. So calculate the total number of part. We got it 18. Okay, 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is equal to 18. So step 2 was to divide the total amount by the total parts to find the value of one part, that is 24,000 by 18, that is 133.33 approximately. Okay, so multiplying the value of one part by the ratio to find each person's share. So Alex will be 3 parts, so 3 part into 1333.33 is equal to 4,000, and Ben will be with 4 parts, so 4 part into 1333.33 is equal to 5333.33 approximately. So Chris got like that with 5 parts, he got 6666.67, and David with 6 parts, what he got was he got 8,000. Okay, so David donates his share of 8,000 to charity. So Alex receives 4,000, Ben receives 5,333. Chris receives 6,666.67, and the charity receives 8,000. That is the amount that David got. Okay, so these kind of questions are very basic and very standard. So you need to remember these kind of concepts, how to tackle them. Okay, how to solve, where to manipulate. Okay, these are very crucial things to remember. So this can only be achieved via practice. So keep practicing. Okay, these kind of questions, because these are very standard. Okay, so let's see problem number 9. So the ratio of boys to girls in a classroom is 3:5. Okay, so in the classroom, what we have is we have boys and girls, and their ratio is 3:5. So if there are total 80 students in the classroom, how many boys are there? So let's assume that the boys are 3x, so the girls must be 5x. So in total, what they have are 8x. Okay, so 8x is equal to nothing but 80. So this implies that x is equal to 10. So this implies, since there are 3x boys, so this will be equal to 30 boys. Okay, and 5x girls, so 50 girls. Okay, so given the ratio of boys to girls is 3:5, so let the common factor be x. So number of boys will be 3x and number of girls will be 5x. So total number will be 80, that is equal to 8x. Okay, so 8x is equal to, since 80 as 3x plus 5x is equal to 80. So this implies that x is equal to 10. So number of boys will be 3 into 10 is equal to 30, and number of girls will be what? 5 into 10 is equal to 50. So number of girls will be 50. Okay. So let's see problem number 10. So in a mixture of milk and water, so what we have here is we have milk and water. So the ratio of milk to water is 4:1. So if there are 45 liters of mixture, okay, how much water should we be added to make the ratio 4:3? Okay, so what we are doing here is we are mixing milk and water, okay, in the ratio 4:3. So if I have 45 liters of mixture, how much water should we add to make the ratio 4:3? Let's see. Okay, this is a new kind of problem. Let's see the solution. So given ratio of milk is to water is 4.4:1. So this is given. And to convert it to 4:3 with 45 liter of water of mixture. Okay. So let the common factor be x. So it will be equal to 4x plus 1x is equal to 5x. So given that the total mixture is equal to 45 liters, so x is equal to 9 here. Okay. So the amount of water in the mixture will be 1x is equal to 1 into 9. That is here is equal to 9 liters. So here let y liters of water to be mixed to make the milk and water ratio 4:3. So then according to the question, 36 by 9 plus y is equal to 4 by 3. So y plus 9 is equal to 36 into 3 whole by 4. That is 27. So y is equal to 27 minus 9 is equal to 18. Okay, so 18 liters of water must be added. So the ratio of ages of A and B and C is 5:9:12. So the sum of their ages is 78 years. So what is the age of C? Okay, if age to B to C is 5:9:12, the sum of their ages is 78 years. What is the age of C? So 5x plus 9x plus 12x is equal to 78. That is equal to what? 11x plus 5x, 16x. Okay, so we want to know that what is the age of C. So common ratio is this. So let the common factor be x. So what we are left with is 26x. So given the total age is 78 years, so 26x is equal to 78. So this implies that x is equal to 3. So age of C will be 12x is equal to 12 into 3, right? That is equal to 36 years. Let's see problem number 12. So in a mixture of nuts, the ratio of almonds to cashews, the ratio of almonds to cashew, that is almond to cashews, is 3:5. So after adding 15 more almonds, the ratio becomes 4:5. So then how many cashews were there in the mixture initially? Initial ratio of almonds to cashew is 3:5. Let the common factor be x. Again, we are proceeding with the same kind of assumption. Okay, so the number of almonds is equal to 3x, the number of cashews is equal to 5x. So 3x plus 5x is equal to what? 8x. So after adding 15 elements, the ratio becomes 4:5. So it is weird. So let's evaluate why it's weird. So 3x plus 15 whole by 5x is equal to 4 by 5. So solving for x, we need to get x is equal to 15. So find the cash use initially is equal to 5x is equal to 5 into 15 is equal to 75. Number of cash use initially. Let's see problem number 13. So if it takes 5 workers to complete a construction project in 20 days, how many workers would be needed to complete the same project in 10 days? Tells us that 5 workers are there and they complete a construction in 20 days. How many workers would be needed to complete the same project in 10 days? Okay, we want to do the same but in 10 days. Okay, so how many workers do we need? Let's denote the number of workers as W. Okay, this is how we proceed with assumption questions. So according to the inverse proportion relationship, the product of number of workers and the number of days should remain constant. So 5 workers into 20 days is equal to W workers into 10 days. So solving for it, W is equal to 5 into 20 by 10. That is equal to actually 10 workers. Let's see problem number 14. So if it takes 8 hours and 12 machines to complete a task. So what you have is 8 hours and 12 machines to complete a task. So to complete a task, how many hours would it take for 20 machines to complete the same task? Okay, so you have what you have is 20 machines. Okay, so what you need to calculate is you need to calculate how many hours do you need to complete the same task. So let's denote the number of hours needed to be h. Okay, so using the inverse proportion relationship, 12 machine into 8 hours is equal to 20 machines into h hours. So solving for h, what we are left with is 12 into 8 whole by 20 is equal to 4.8 hours. Okay. So problem number 15. A car travels a distance of 240 km in 6 hours. So how much time would it take for the car to travel a distance of 360 km? Okay, assuming the same speed. Okay. So let's denote the time as t. Using the inverse proportion relationship, what we can evaluate is 240 km by 6 hours is equal to 360 km by t hours. So solving for t is equal to 360 into 6 by 240 is equal to 9 hours. Okay, so let's go to the problem number 16. So if a boat can travel at 120 km downstream in 4 hours. Okay, so while it takes 6 hours to cover the same distance upstream, okay, it takes 6 hours to cover the same distance. The distance remains same but it goes upstream. That's why it takes 6 hours. Okay, because the water goes in opposite direction. So find the speed of the boat in still water and the speed of the current. So let the speed of the boat is in still water be b kilometer per hour and the speed of the current be c kilometer per hour. So downstream speed is equal to b plus c kilometer per hour and upstream speed is equal to b minus c kilometer per hour. So solution is given distance is equal to 120 kilometer. So time downstream is equal to 4 hours, time upstream is equal to 6 hours. So using the formula, distance is equal to speed into time. So you saw here, we use that formula. Okay, in last lecture I told you this formula and this formula will be used extensively. So here it is used. So downstream will be 120 is equal to b plus c into 4 and upstream will be equal to b minus c into 6 is equal to 120. So solving this system of equation will be giving us value of b and c. So let's multiply 6 with this and multiply 4 with this. And then we can cancel out the b's coefficients and the b will vanish. C will be vanishing and all will be left with is b and some constant value relation. So it has become here and 2b is equal to 50. So b is equal to 25 km per hour. So substituting the value of b into the first equation. So 30 is equal to 25 plus c. So c is equal to 5 km per hour. So the speed of the boat in still water is 25 km per hour and the speed of the current is 5 km per hour. Okay, let's see problem number 17. So problem number 17 is something, an item is bought for 800 rupees, okay, and sold for 1000 rupees. So calculate the profit percentage. Okay, so profit is equal to what? 200 because 1000 that is selling price minus cost price. So profit percentage 200, that is profit by cost price, that is 800 into 100, right? So it will be 1 by 4. So 1 by 4 is equal to what? 0.25. So 25% is the profit percentage. So calculating the profit, what we are left with is 1000 minus 800, that is selling price minus cost price, is equal to 200. So step 2 is calculating the profit percentage, and we evaluated it by this formula, that is profit by cost price into 100. So 200 by 800 into 100 is equal to 25%. So let's see problem number 18. So a shirt is bought for 750 rupees and sold for 900. So here the profit is what? 150, right? So after giving a discount of 10%, find the profit percentage. Okay. What he gave was, he gave an initial discount of 10%. So 900, the selling price comes to 810, as 10% of 900 is equal to what? 90. So 900 minus 90 is equal to what? 810, right? So now the selling price is 810. Okay. So the profit became 60 rupees, as 810 minus 750 is equal to what? 60 rupees. So 60, how much is 60 of 750 in percentage? So 60 by 750 into 100. So this became what? 25, not 25. This became 16, 17. Okay. So this became 13. And this is 2. So 120 by 13, that is actually equal to what? 8%, approximately 8%. Okay. So the profit percentage is 60 by 750 into 100, as we have already discussed, and it is equal to 8%. Okay. So that's all for this lecture. Thank you.